Yes, what's happening, people? And welcome back to Gav Goes In. Guys, how are you all doing today? Everyone doing well? So, as you guys can see in the thumbnail, guys, Mohammed Kudus and Morgan Rogers, and for me, Chelsea, if Chelsea wants to, be contenders for this title this season, which I think as it stands right now is very unlikely. You'll have to say with only Liam Delap coming in, which isn't enough, and Dario Asugo as well, which again I don't expect Asugo to be a regular star in that Chelsea midfield. But for me, if Chelsea want to show that they're a team this season that can, because I think Man City and Liverpool, as we all know, they're gonna be the teams. They're gonna be the two teams that will be battling for the title. But for me, I think if Chelsea want to at least compete, because I think Chelsea will be going for top four definitely. But if they want to at least try and give Man City and Liverpool something to think about, for me, it's the wide areas that they need to improve on. If we look at their wide options at the moment, the likes of Noni Madueke, Pedro Neto, obviously Cole Palmer can play on that right hand side, but I've been playing in the 10. William Esteval as well. Obviously, he'll be coming in the summer. Where's he going to play? He might be the same as Palmer in the 10 or on the right hand side. And then that left hand side is a massive hole because you've got the likes of what's his name? I forgot his name now. What's his name? Something George. I forgot his bloody name. Tyreek George, that's the one. Tyreek George that can play on the left-hand side. And that's it. Obviously, the option on Sancho wasn't taken up. And as I said, I think if you look at Chelsea's attacking options on that side, I know they're heavily linked with Bino Gittins of Borussia Dortmund. But do I believe Bino Gittins takes them anywhere close next to Man City or Chelsea or Liverpool? I don't. So for me, Mohammed Kudus and Morgan Rogers, again, two deals that you will believe that will be difficult to do. But I just believe that if Chelsea want to be serious this season, two players that have to be looked at and signed. And again, there's been interest in both players, but Chelsea seem obviously that they're gonna put all their eggs into the Bino Gittins basket, really. And for me, I think that would be the wrong move. Although I can see what Chelsea are doing. Big up to Michelle Bagaloo. Yeah, big up. Although I can see what Chelsea are doing with getting in a lot of the former Man City players. You think of the likes of Cole Palmer, Tosin Adarabioyo, Romeo Lavia, Liam Delap, now trying to get Bino Gittins. Obviously Morgan Rogers as well, formerly of Man City. And I think Kudus spent time at City as well. So you can see that they're trying to go down this City route of getting their former players. And for me, I think if they was to get Morgan Rogers and Mohammed Kudus, I think that transforms their front line for sure. I know Rogers plays as a 10, but Rogers can play out from the left as well. And as I said, if you guys have seen any of my content from before, you will know how highly I rate Morgan Rogers. I think in terms of English talents right now, I believe Morgan Rogers is probably the best at the moment, I would say, or definitely in the top two. So big up to YT Sefi as well. So yeah, I think that Chelsea, for me, could do well to get both players in. And again, if we look at Chelsea's right-hand side, you've got the likes of Neto. Between Neto and Madueke, for me, I'm choosing Neto. And obviously, Neto cost more money as well. So you believe that he would get more time to kind of prove his worth. But I think with Madueke, definitely they have to think about moving him on. And obviously, there has been interest from the likes of Arsenal, likes of Newcastle as well. I think definitely that needs to be looked at. And getting in a Mohammed Kudus, I believe is going to be, great business for Chelsea. And I think with Kudus, I think there's talk about West Ham trying to force him out. Maybe they know that he's unhappy. And again, someone like Kudus should be playing Champions League football, and that's what Chelsea can offer Kudus. So I think if you play Kudus on that right hand side, um, again, Kudus' pace and power and his eye for goal, that's going to add another dimension to Chelsea's attack. Because I think for me, Cole Palmer should be playing out there, but I think it's very obvious that Maresca's not really going to play Palmer there. So I think with the options they have at the moment in Neto and Madueke, I think definitely they need to upgrade that position. And I think with the likes of Neto, Neto's pace is a threat. And obviously I've been hearing he's been doing quite well in pre-season so far. But I think Kudus just gives them that bit extra. And again, the physicality of Kudus, he's going to prove a major problem for defences. And I think what's good about Kudus going to a Chelsea do dominate the ball against, you would say 9 times out of 10 against the majority of their opponents, you'd believe. And if you can get the likes of Kudus isolated in one-on-ones against the fullback, his pace and power, and his direct running, he's going to cause all sorts of problems for most defenses, So that's why I think someone like Kudus is a must signing for Chelsea, and a definite upgrade on the likes of what they've got now. So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. How much do I think Kudus will cost? Well, again, I've been hearing West Ham are trying to force him out, so I'm gonna say Kudus for me. I'd say between 40 and 60 million. I think West Ham would take. I'll be surprised if they take less than that, if I'm honest, because you're looking at one of their best players. I would say between 40 and 60 million, I think might be enough to get him. Yeah, I think that could be enough. And I think if you look at all because I think Chelsea definitely do need a right winger, a left-footed right winger. And I think Kudus is the outstanding one. They got Brian Mbeumo as well, but Mbeumo's looking like he's going to United. And again, I think I'm not sure would Mbeumo suit the way that Chelsea would want to play. I think good players can suit any team, really, but I think in terms of Chelsea playing with the 4-2-3-1, I think Mbeumo probably would suit a 4-3-3, or this system that United are playing, the 3-4-2-1 at the moment, as being one of the attackers as a right 10. So yeah, I mean, there hasn't been any links to Mbeumo anyway from Chelsea, but I think Kudus for me is the outstanding one in terms of his physicality, Premier League proven as well, that can slot in on that right-hand side. And if Chelsea had Kudus and Neto as the 2 players on that right-hand side, and then you've got Willian Esteval and Cole Palmer batting it out for the 10, and equally as well, both players can play from the right. You've got 4 players there that between them should be enough firepower for Chelsea going forwards. That left-hand side, as I said, is a massive problem. Obviously you got, again, Christopher Nkunku, again, who you expect him to be moved on. But I look at Morgan Rogers as well, can play through the middle and can play on the left-hand side. And again, he's an upgrade on what they've got. I think between Kudus and Rogers, I think Rogers will be the harder player to get, in my opinion, because I think he's one of Aston Villa's best players, if not their best player. And I think if they was to get rid of him or sell him, Aston Villa, I think you're looking at probably, I'd go as far as saying 70 million. I can't see anything less. I know obviously PSR, might play its factor, but I think he'd probably be the last player they want to sell. And if they was to sell him, a bid of possibly 70 million, I believe, would be incoming for Mohammed, for Morgan Rogers. And again, I think, as I said before, Morgan Rogers for me is he's definitely in the top 2 best English talents right now. For me, for England, no doubt. I rate him that highly. I think he can go and play for possibly any team in Europe. I think he's that good. So yeah, I think him on the left hand side, Kudus on the right, and then you've got the likes of, as I say, Palmer in the 10. Esteval's obviously got to adjust to the league. Neto backing up Kudus. And then if you've got you know, well, Tyreek George, I don't think he's ever going to be a regular. But if he's backing up Morgan Rogers, if they was to get him, then yeah, that would be good business. But I think they're hell bent on getting Bino Gittins. You know, again the Man City connection. But the funny thing is with Bino Gittins, does Bino Gittins for me doesn't comfortably start for Chelsea, because I think, you know, is he comfortably better than? I mean, if you look at the left hand side at the moment, obviously they've got no left attacker really. So he might just get in there by default, you might say. But I think if Chelsea was to invest in two attackers on the left hand side, I couldn't see Bino Gittins being a regular starter, especially if they was to get a Morgan Rogers. But it's looking like they're hell bent on getting him in, and we're gonna have to wait and see what their plans are. But I think the fact that Chelsea are looking at Bino Gittins and they've got in Liam Delap, if I'm a Chelsea supporter, it's not going to fill you with confidence to see what Chelsea are going to do this season. As I mentioned earlier with Mike Maignan, you know, it's not showing me that they really wanted Mike Maignan, if I'm honest, because Maignan was there to be good to be bought. Um, but Chelsea obviously didn't really want to pay what AC Milan were asking for, you know, and I'm pretty sure they could have come to a deal and sorted something out, but it's obvious that they didn't really want to pay that deal. So I'm not really sure what Chelsea are doing this season, because we all know that Chelsea need a striker, even though they've walked the lap in. We know they need to get possibly another keeper, you know, unless they're happy with what they've got. And for me, another centre back, and obviously a left winger. So yeah, there are spaces in their team that they need to improve on, but the links at the moment are only to Bino Gittins. And obviously you got Giovanni Quenda, who's going to be a great player. He's coming in next season, you know, and he's going to add to their attack. But I think, yeah, Kudus and Rogers for me, they need to be snapped up by Chelsea. And I think if Chelsea are serious, they will just drop their interest in Bino Gittins, you know, because I think they've already had a 46 million bid rejected, you know, and if they're gonna go out and spend more money and try and get Bino Gittins over the line, I don't know why they just don't offer, you know, 60 million to West Ham for Kudus, give West Ham something to think about, and then go and do the same for Morgan Rogers, you know, at least show intent by trying to go for them players, because those two players there, as I said, Premier League proven, they're going to improve their lineup, you know, and as I said, they're two players as well with the physicality side of the game and the pace, which will help Chelsea's team. Because if I look at Chelsea's team, you know, Chelsea, you know, I think you look at their centre back pairing of Colwill, who's been playing, and then you've got Wesley Fofana. Well, Fofana's out injured; he hasn't played many games. But you've got Tosin and you've got Trevor Chalobah. You'd say there's a bit of physicality there. Cucurella's a very good left back. You know, isn't the most quickest or the most physically imposing defenders, but in terms of his ability on the ball and his defensive and attacking strengths, you know, he's very good. Reece James, as I mentioned before, for me is the best right back in the game once he's fit. The fact that this manager keeps playing him in midfield is a problem, you know. Malo Gusto looks like he's fallen off a cliff, you know, but Reece James should be first choice and Gusto should be the understudy to Reece James. I don't really want to see Reece James playing in midfield for Chelsea no more. I think he just needs to be playing, you know, right back and cementing himself, you know, as being one of the top right backs in Europe, if not the top right back in Europe. And then in goal, we know, as we said, you know, who's going to play in goal for them. You know, you got Georgievich coming back on loan from Strasbourg, looking like he might be the number one. Sanchez is still there. You know, that's why they need to get get a Mike Maignan, you know, who's a leader and he's regarded as one of the best keepers in the world as well. The midfield for me, Moises Caicedo, for me, is one of the best midfielders, not only in the league, but in Europe, definitely. And that combination of him and Lavia, if Lavia stays fit, is frightening. Obviously, Enzo had a good season. You know, he'll fancy his chances being obviously part of the team. And let's not forget as well, Enzo is the vice captain when Reece James is not playing. Cole Palmer speaks for himself. You know, Cole Palmer is arguably their best player. I like seeing Cole Palmer play from the right, but I think Maresca is hell-bent playing him through the middle. And I think against the lesser teams, I think they'll get away with it. But against some of the stronger teams, I think Palmer will get crowded out, you know, because playing in traffic is not probably what his preferred thing is. So yeah, I can see him getting crowded out really. So remains to be seen what happens there. On the right, we're speaking about Kudus, you know, Neto, Madueke for me has to be moved on. And then on the left, obviously, as I said, is a massive hole because they didn't take up Sancho. You know, Mudryk, as we know, has been banned, I think, for 4 years. Tyreek George ain't ready. Raheem Sterling's obviously coming back, but they're going to try and move him on. And then you got Madueke, who can play both sides. Isn't good enough. It needs to be moved on. The same with Nkunku. So, yeah, there's a space there on that left-hand side. And then going through the middle, you got Nicholas Jackson, you've got Liam Delap and Mark Gu. I think Mark Gu will probably be the third striker, you know, trying to get the minutes in the cups. Nicholas Jackson obviously has been subject of interest from other clubs. And Liam Delap obviously has a number 9 shirt and is a new signing. So, yeah, for me, they need to get another striker in, a left winger, starting left winger. Obviously, Rodrigo, for me, I've spoken about him before, is the ideal left winger. But he's an ideal left winger for many teams. But as I said, yeah, I think they've got a few positions in their team that need looking at for sure, man. For sure. Big up to Xedra. Yeah, big up, bro. Big up for coming on. Just discussing Chelsea, you know, need to sign 2, for me, Premier League proven, you know, upgrades on what they've got in Mohammed Kudus and Morgan Rogers in the wide positions. And I think if they sign those 2 players, for me, as I said, I think Chelsea will be the closest competitors to Liverpool and City. I think if they get those 2 players, improve the wide areas, and obviously still need to get a striker in, that's going to get them goals. I think they're crying out for an Osman. Then yeah, as I said, man, I think I don't think no one's going to push City and Liverpool for me personally, but I think if Chelsea was to get Rodgers and Kudus, I'd make them the best of the rest as it stands right now, because I don't believe Arsenal are doing enough to even consider that. Newcastle obviously had a bid for Elanga, rejected today at 45 mil. Again, I can see why they want Elanga. You know, I can see why they want him. You know, he basically complements their team in terms of the physicality, the pace, and the power. Can play both sides of the flanks as well. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, not too much business being done, but I think if Chelsea, you know, pursue their interest in Bino Gittins, I don't believe that improves them massively, if I'm honest. I think he's an option, but Kudus and Rodgers, for me, take them over the line. That's what I will say. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Guys, big up yourselves. Give me your questions. Only meant to be a short one today anyway. Obviously been going for 19 minutes. But yeah, give me your questions. Let me know what you think on Chelsea. Should they be in for Kudus and Morgan Rogers? Or do you believe that, you know, Bino Gittins will be a better investment for the long term? Because I look at Bino Gittins and I do think he's a decent player, but he's not what Chelsea need for me right now. And again, it's being driven by the powers that be, obviously, that have had Bino Gittins at Man City, obviously former Man City youth player. And that's why it's been driven, because I can assure you, if he wasn't previously at Man City, I think Chelsea will be looking elsewhere. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. You think that Chelsea should be going for Bino Gittins, or should they be targeting Kudus and Rodgers? So Zedra says, speaking of Gittins, gotten into an argument with someone who said Garnacho is a top 10 player in his position. Yeah, big up Zedra, man. Listen, I'm trying not to laugh, yeah, but whoever told you that Garnacho is a top 10 player in his position, I'm pretty sure they were on some sort of drugs, man. So I wouldn't even take that too seriously because they're not being serious. Because the funny thing is with Garnacho, if we was to go through every team in the Premier League, I can tell you that he's not better than the majority of the left wingers in this league. We start off at Liverpool, yeah. Is he better than Gakpo and Luis Diaz? No. So that's one team. We go to Arsenal. Is he better than Martinelli? Martinelli's not great, but, you know, I'd probably say he's better than Garnacho. Is he better than Trossard? No, he's not. Then we go to City. So I'm doing it in order of how they finished. So I can't remember the whole order, but we'll try and get as close to it as possible. If we go to City, is he better than Jeremy Doku? Again, Jeremy Doku ain't great, but he's not better than Jeremy Doku. You know, at least Jeremy Doku has pace and power. Obviously, Grealish. Is he better than Grealish? No. Is he better than Marmoush, who can play out there? No. So that's 3 teams already. Then we go to Newcastle. Is he better than Anthony Gordon? No. Is he better than Harvey Barnes? No, I don't think he is. No. So that's 4 teams already, yeah? Then we go on to Aston Villa. Aston Villa don't... I mean, this is why there's talk about him going Aston Villa Garnacho, because if you look at the way Aston Villa play, they play a central midfielder on the left, which is John McGinn. So they ain't really got a natural winger, which is why he's been linked with Villa. So there is a spot there. But if we was to say Morgan Rogers can play there, he's not better than Morgan Rogers. So, but the Aston Villa one's a bit different because they don't really play with an out-and-out winger on that side, you know. I think Jacob Ramsey does play there. But is he better than Jacob Ramsey? No, I wouldn't say he is. So we move on to Nottingham Forest. Is he better than Elanga? No. Is he better than Hudson-Odoi? No. Who else we got there? Brentford. Is he better than Kevin Schade? No. Is he better than Brian Mbeumo? No. So all the teams we've said so far, he's not better than any of these players, Garnacho. Everton, is he better than Iliman Ndiaye? No. Is he better than Dwight McNeil, who can play out there? No. Bournemouth, is he better than what's his face? Semenyo? No. Is he better than Justin Kluivert, who can play out there, or Tavernier? No. So you could Crystal Palace, is he better than Eze out there? No. Ismail Assar? No. So can you see where we're going? Like, let's just go to the bottom 3 that got relegated. Is he better than Kalmadin Sulemana? No, he's not. Sulemana has the physical attributes. Big up to Jemex. Jemex says, is he better than Yankuba Minte? No. Is he better than Kaoru Matoma? No. Then we go to Sulemana. No. Tyler Dibbling. No. Is he better than... who have Leicester got playing on the flanks? So if Leicester got Mavadidi, is he better than Mavadidi? No. Is he better than Abdul Fatawu if he's fit? No. Who's the other team that got relegated? So it was Leicester, Southampton, and who's the other team? Guys, let me know who else got relegated. Leicester, Southampton. Who's the other team? So we're just comparing to see what lineup does Garnacho get into and comfortably starts. And so far, there isn't one team. Luton didn't get relegated. Ipswich, that's it, Ipswich. Is he better than Amari Hutchinson? No, I don't think. No, he's not better than Amari Hutchinson. No way. Is he better than who played out on the left for them? That Jack Clark, formerly of Sunderland. Is he better than Jack Clark? Touch and go, but probably not. So my point is, Garnacho, if someone says that Garnacho is a top 10 in their position, he comfortably doesn't even start for any team in the league. So again, the person that said that to you, Xedra, I like to know what he's smoking, man, because he's smoking something strong. Um, so top 10 under 21 player in his position. Sorry. Yeah, but that's the thing is that doesn't make sense because like there isn't many players obviously that are under 21 playing on the flank. So that's silly because put it this way, yeah, if we go through let's do this, yeah. Let's go through the top clubs in Europe that have players that are under 21 playing in the same position on the flanks, either left or right, as Garnacho, and we'll see if he's better than any of them. So let's start off at Liverpool. Do Liverpool have anyone that's under 21 playing on the flanks? They don't, so they don't count. Man City, is he better than Savinho? No, he's not. So, and who else they got? Oscar Bob's better than him as well and hasn't been playing. So, Man City, I would say no. Arsenal don't have anyone under 21. Neither do Tottenham. Neither do... I'm trying to look at the top clubs. So all the top clubs that have a player that's under 21, in the Premier League, I think it's only Savinho that's under 21. I think he's 20. So he's not better than Savinho. So that rules out anyone in England. Because I don't think anyone else in England has a player that's under 21. Again, Tyler Dibbling, we mentioned he's not better than Tyler Dibbling. So that's that. Then we go to Germany. Germany don't have anyone that's under 21. I believe that plays on the flanks. You've got, what's his name? Julian Duranville. But again, Duranville isn't a regular. And Duranville has physicality, which Garnacho doesn't have. So if we're talking about Duranville, is Garnacho better than Duranville? No. Who else we got there? And guys, let me know if there's any players under 21 that plays for the top clubs around Europe to tell me if Garnacho's better than them, because I've not even mentioned Desiree Doué, because no point mentioning Doué and Yamal because they're both better than Garnacho anyway. Bradley Barcola, I believe, is 21. Is he better than Bradley Barcola? No, he's not. Bayern Munich haven't got no one under 21 that plays from the flanks. Obviously, Musiala plays as a 10, but if he played in the flanks, he's not better than Musiala. So Bayer Leverkusen don't have anyone. Leipzig, I can't remember how old Xavi Simons is, but Xavi Simons plays as a 10, but can play on the flank. Is he better than Xavi Simons? No, he's not. And I think Simons might be 20 or 21 actually as well. So guys, you can see where we're struggling here because, top under 21 player in his position, well, there isn't any under 21 players in his position that he's better than, because I've already mentioned Yamal, Doué, Barcola, Savinho, they're all better than him. So I'd like to know who these under 21 players in his position that he's actually talking about. But big up Zedra anyway. Big up to Noah Matter as well. So Chelsea is an interesting team. Personally, I think their setup is a bit weird, but they'll make up for it with quality players. Yeah, listen, Chelsea, like, let's be honest with you, yeah. In terms of Chelsea's age profile, like, they're gonna have a serious team for the future. That goes without saying. But I think what they need now is experience in key positions, in goal, centre back, and definitely striker. So whether they go and do that or not remains to be seen. But they definitely need to upgrade in them positions for me. Sean Twed says, Crazy Borough bought ROGERS for a minimal fee from City. Now he's worth 70+ million. Yeah, listen. But Man City's production line of youngsters, man, it can go on and on. We can talk about Lavia, Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers now, Sancho, Bino Gittins. You know, if they was to keep all those players, you know, and look at the amount of money that these players are going for, you know, even Felix Lemaitre at Borussia Dortmund as well. So yeah, their production line of youngsters that they sell for money, and yeah, and obviously that can be regarded as top players now as well, is mad. And Rogers is the latest one. Jemex says, I also think Tyreek George is better than Garnacho. Listen, Jemex, bro, I wouldn't even, you know, be surprised at that, because for me, Tyreek George is a lot more inexperienced than Garnacho. But can we comfortably say if Garnacho's better than him? But the question that that was put forward to me from what Exedra said is that, if I go back to it, he said that the conversation that he had is that this person told him that Garnacho is a top 10 under 21 player in his position. But the problem is there isn't many 21 or younger players playing as a left winger, right winger in world football in general. So we can only deal with who's playing there. And every player that I've mentioned that is under 21, he isn't better than. So he might be in the top 10 by default. So yeah. Big up to Sham. Big up, bro, each and every time. Jemex says Arsenal got Wanyeri. Again, is Garnacho better than Wanyeri? No, he's not. So that's another player there. Big up. Keenan Yildiz is not better than Keenan Yildiz. Big up to Exedra. Yeah, so look, he's not better than Keenan Yildiz. He's not better than Wanyeri. He's not better than Yamal. He's not better than Gittins. He's not better than Echeverry. But I think, to be fair, I'll leave out Echeverry and Gavi because they're both playing central. Wanyeri, Yildiz, Yamal, and Gittins all play out from wide. Antonio Nusa as well, as Jemex has mentioned. He's not better than any one of them. So, yeah, this whole he's best in his top 10 is a complete lie. There we go. Doué, Barcola, Musiala. Obviously, Kobe plays central. Isn't better than any of them. Bro, listen, it is absurd. The person saying that doesn't actually mean that, because if you just put forward to him the list of names, he can't tell you that he's better than any one of them, you know? So, as I said, take out Kobe Mino because he plays central. Take out Gavi as well because he plays central. And the same with Echeverry and Musiala because they both play central. If we're talking about wide players that play on either flank, left or right, he's not better than Yildiz, Gittins, Yamal, Wanyeri, Nusa, Doué, Barcola. He's not better than any one of them. So, as I said, yeah, it's a myth for that guy to say that, whoever he is, you know. So Garnacho is better than Darwin Núñez / Højlund, maybe. But again, we can't compare Garnacho and Darwin Núñez because Darwin Núñez is a striker. I know he plays out on the left, but that's because Arne Slot doesn't rate him. But he's actually a striker. So we can't really compare Garnacho. We only can compare Garnacho to players in a direct position. Again, Musiala's just turned 22, so we can't even compare Musiala because the question was under 21. So, again, let's take Musiala out of there. And plus, he plays central anyway. Big up to Aze Achieves as well for coming on. Oh, okay. Is that Gamer's new account? Okay, big up, Gamer. So Zedra says, "Oh, he's a certified GA merchant. Who's it? Oh, okay, the guy's a GA merchant. Okay. Well, yeah, if he's a GA merchant, all the more the reason to not listen to what he's saying, because as I said, man, like when you're dealing with people that are GA merchants, they're not gonna hear anything else but what they want to hear. So yeah, I wouldn't even take that too seriously. But again, everyone's entitled to their opinions. But to say that Garnacho is a top under 21 player in the world or in Europe, again, let's apply context to these things, definitely. But guys, listen up. Obviously, you know, meant to be a quick one anyway. You know, so as I said, Kudus and Morgan Rogers, two players that for me Chelsea definitely need to sign. You know, whether they Whether they go in for them or not remains to be seen. And but I do think if they want to go to the next level, man, they need to definitely invest in those two players for me. I think those two players in the wide positions should be the primary objectives for me, definitely. Um, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Guys, make sure you keep an eye on at 6:30. So I've got obviously my Next Gen 50 that I've been doing. So for those of you that don't know what Next Gen 50 is, it's the best 50 young players in world football. And funny enough, it's players that are under 21. So again, it's weird how we're talking about, Garnacho being the best under 21 player in his position or in the top 10. I'm actually doing the best 50 under 21 players in the world. So as I said, keep an eye out. I've got 2 dropping today, one at 6:30 and one at 8:30. 2 players, one of them has actually been mentioned in the chat already. So yeah, 2 players that I believe, could be 2 stars of the future. Both players are at the same club as well. So yeah, it's absolutely mad. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And again, drop me your comments, guys. Let me know what you think. So Next Gen 50, let me know what you think of the players that I've done for there. There's two coming out, as I said. And as I said, big up to all the mods for coming on each and every time. And again, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let me know your comments, guys, after the stream's ended. Let me know if you think Chelsea should be targeting Mohammed, Kudus and Morgan Rogers, or do you think Bino Gittins is a good way for is a good way for them to go for the future? Let me know, guys. Let me know definitely in the comments after the chat's ended. Let me know your views. And as I said, if you're a newcomer in here, big up yourself. Make sure you subscribe to my channel at GavGoesIn. I'm on 1,100 guys now, so I've surpassed the that barrier there now. So I've just hit a new milestone, 1,100. So yeah, keep subscribing if you're new and if you enjoy the content. And again, make sure you check out my older content as well. What I'm gonna try and do is try and put some of the newer content into chapters, just so obviously if there's something in particular that you wanna have a look at, then I'll put them into chapters to make it easier for you guys. But yeah, as I said, big up yourselves each and every time. Keep an eye on the schedule. And yeah, as I said, we'll be back tomorrow at some time, but I'm not sure what time yet. So obviously got a few things to do. But yeah, keep an eye on the schedule. And again, keep your support coming. It's appreciated each and every time. As again, guys, subscribe and smash that like button. And I'm going to catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.